got all the parts in to put the Softail back together, and I didn't realize it. Almost all of it is made by Drag Specialties. Throttle cables, brake cable. Actually, that's the clutch cable in there. There's the throttle cable. Throttle cables. Except for the grips. The nice thing about these grips is they come with the inner tube already on. I don't have to try to peel off the old one and glue on a new one. Got the new screws for the handlebars. Had to drill them all out and heat them up and get them all out. It's even got screws for the brake master cylinder cover. And the wiring harness, it's made by Drag Specialties as well too. I didn't even know this when I ordered all this stuff. That was all Drag Specialties. Well, they had the best price. The only thing that I thought I ordered was the black coated master cylinder cable, but this clear one came in, the clear stainless steel one. I'm going to have to go with that. Okay, I'm going to get set up here and start putting this back together. First thing I'm going to start with is soldering in the extension wires onto the handlebar part first, then feed it through and see how much I got to cut off. So that's where I'm at over here. Here's the original ones. They're short. Stripped all the wires. Here's the new harness. It gives you lots of harness, probably 2.5 feet there. And I put a slid on a piece of heat shrink here first. Slide them all the way down so they don't shrink up on you. I got a ring in my hand. From a stag last night. Yeah, so I'm going to solder these all up first, feed it through the bars, and then see how much I got to lop off at the other end, and then solder them to the connector. That's what I'm going to do right now. Drag Specialties came with all these connectors here that you just crimp on, but I'm not going to use them. I don't trust them. The wires always pull out. So we're going to solder them, heat shrink them. We do first one at a time. There's 7 wires on this side, and I think there's more on the other side. Then you got to do all the other connectors. So I don't know what that works out to. 25 or so connections. 26. You want to try to wrap those wires as tight as possible. Hanging down there. I'm going to get it as tight as possible because I'm going to have 7 of them in a row there taped together. And you don't want a great big ball in the wire. Okay, let's do the next one. Red. These are pretty handy little contraptions here from Princess Auto, or no, Harbor Freight. Not very much money either. Whenever soldering wires, I always use the real fine wire. Not the big thick wire. Takes too much to heat up. That's good. Okay, I'm going to continue on with this. Get back to when I'm done. Got them all soldered in there. Now I'm just going to slide the heat shrink over them. The middle. And I'm going to use my heat gun. You can use a lighter. About there. Yo, it's hot. That's it. I took the, whoa, where are you there? I took the packing tape, or the tape over off of the cable here, the liner. So now I can slide the harness wire right over top of all that, hopefully. That's what I'm trying to do. I have to put a little slit in it to get it over. See, this is what's going to happen. It's going to all bind up like this in here. Where's my knife? My knife, scissors, something. Sliding over. It's like a snake swallowing a frog. That brown one, I can pull that one up a little bit. There. Pretty much got it right over top of the other one. And I've got a large piece of heat shrink. Let's see if I can put it over that area there. Let's see if that'll shrink down enough. Should have had a smaller piece of heat shrink, but I think this is going to shrink down. piece of tape around it. I'm going to feed the wires through the handlebar. The owner of the bike, he wanted to have the wires on the outside there, so you got some black contrast, but it's easier to do with inch bars all the way right straight through, but I think these are 1.25 inches, and what you have to do, let's see, this sits like this. You have to grind a slot in the bottom here so that the wire will be flush with the bars. You have to grind a pretty big slot in here. Well, with the 1.5 inch bars, you got to grind a huge slot out of here so that the wires will run underneath, and I don't really want to do that. That'll permanently screw these things up. So I think I'm going to run it through the bars anyways, and hopefully it's going to be okay with that. It's going to look a lot neater and cleaner, especially when you know, when I soldered the two wires together here and I got this joining piece in here, it'll kind of cover that up. Okay, so what it is, I fed in a piece of, you can stick a piece of wire in here first and get a pair of needle nose pliers. I just got a piece of weed whipper line, couldn't find my roll of wire. And let's see if I can grab it down here. Need my hook. I'm gonna get my little hook. Okay. Let's get a little hook in here. Pull that out there. And then let's get some electrical tape. I got some hockey tape, I think it'll work. Tape these wires together, pull it through. I'm gonna make sure it comes to a point here at the top so it doesn't hang up on anything. Hopefully that'll stay on there. We'll feed it through. Push and pull. There we go. Should have had you down here at the same time. Ugh. Right there. There's my hand. Yeah. Still got to solder them all to the connector there as well. I should have WD-40 it, put a little oil on it. I could still squirt it in there, I guess. Put a little WD-40 on it, slides a little easier. I'm going to do that for the other side. Yeah, I'm going to put a little bit on there. because I'm coming to that knot right now. That should make it a little easier. Yeah, I'm going to plug away with it. Got the wire all fed through the handlebar there. Works a little better with WD-40 on it. It's going to be difficult to get the other side in for sure. But we'll do this one first. So they give you like an extra couple feet of wire on here. And I'm going to cut it so it's got an extra couple inches on it in case you ever need to extend it again. But here's the piece that I cut off right there, and got a wire tie strap that into there. So I'm going to cut it off about, yeah, maybe in there, maybe right about in there somewhere. Got enough left over here to do another bike. I'll keep that. Lots left over. Okay. I'll just cut the outer cover off a little bit. Just score it. Would be better if I had a new knife. There. Okay. Now I'll strip the wires on both sides. Okay. Got all the wires stripped on both sides, on the connector side, on the wire side. Slid on all the heat shrinks first. Make sure I get them all on there, 7 of them. I'm just going to solder one wire at a time. And I stuck my little clamp thing in there to hold it still for me while I do it. That's what I got here. Got an old pair of pants. Shove it in there. That. Don't drop anything on it. One down. is there's 7 wires here, and probably 7 on the other side. 14 wires, double solder on both ends. So you're looking at 28 solder joints, heat shrink joints. Do one more, and I'll shut you off. You don't want to heat the wires up too much, or the heat shrink will shrink down at the bottom here, and you won't be able to slide it over it. You got to screw around with it. So just want to heat it up just enough. Okay, I'll finish that up and get back. All ready to heat shrink them in there. Yeah, the newer bikes, like 2000 up, when you can buy the wire harness extension kits that have the connectors. You just push them right in and extend it. You can do it like in 5 minutes. But these older bikes where you can't get those kits, you gotta hand solder them all in. But yeah, the newer bikes, they have kits for them. A lot more money. I think they start like $500-600 bucks. Yeah, they have the little push-in connectors, pushes into there, and they're already all soldered on, ready to go. A lot easier. Well, that's that one there. Those are all heat shrunk in. I'll wrap this up with some tape, and I have one side done. Now that I got that side done, I can cut the other side. I didn't want to cut them both at the same time. Hate to cut a factory harness, but that's what you gotta do. We cut it right about there. I can pull the other side out. Okay, got the clutch side all soldered on. Slide up the heat shrinks. This is the hardest part of the job, doing the wiring. It's all downhill from here. Put those on there. Something like that. Get the heat gun. There, that side's done. Slide the skin over, tape her up. Okay. And try to feed the clutch side through. It's going to be more difficult because the other wire's in the way here. So I'm going to lube this one up pretty good. Hopefully it goes in there. I'll put a little lube in here. Okay. Push the line through. be there all right. I don't see it. It's got to be there. Just got to fish it through. I still had one broken, or I had one screw in here still had to drill out. And I got these cheap vice grips that are a piece of shit. Be throwing them in the garbage. And so I had to go to the store and buy some nice vice grips. 35 bucks for two. Small like this and a little bit larger one. But I was able to get it out. And then I have to chase all the threads with taps because there was so much Loctite in them. It's ridiculous. So I was at a standstill for a while there. So I'm ready to put the clutch side all the way in. I lowered the bars down. Put this camera over here a little bit. By lowering the bars down, you have better access to this hole here to pull the cable out. So that made it easier. And I lubed it up. And what I did, because it's so hard to feed the wires through this way, I actually fed the starter wire through this way, pulled it out here, and then taped it to the wiring harness. Because with this wire in the way, the right-hand bar wires were in the way, it's difficult to get in there. Just made it a little bit easier to get it back together. Okay, that's the bad screw, that's the good screw. I'll get this set up here back together. Okay, gonna put the clutch cable back in. The clutch cables are extended 10-inch, but the brake line only 8 inches because it's a straight. It's a stainless steel flex line, so it's going to round in all the corners where the original brake line went. So it doesn't need to be as long. I kind of figured that it'd be shorter, and that's what I ordered, and I rough fit it, and it's going to be good. Let me just figure out how this all goes back together. Oh yeah, that goes down like this. Like that. Let me look at the other cable. cable in here, and there's a debate, different ways of routing this cable, and it kind of depends on the configuration of the ape hangers or your handlebars. With this one making a quick 90 like this, there's no other way but this cable to go on the outside. You see a lot of people put it on the inside here and force it around. You want the cable to always travel in the freest, the freest position possible. You don't want any kinks or bends in it. On all the bikes without the FLH front end, with the individual forks, almost always the cables will go in between the fork and the triple tree. Same with the throttle cables, they go between the fork and the triple tree on this side. Japanese bikes are all the same way. And normally I'd run this through this way, but it would hit and make a kink around it. I think some people will route it on the outside of the bar, and then they'll have a clamp right here on the outside of the like you could run it down this way and put a clamp in here for it. I'm going to put it this way. I see some with a clamp right on that screw there, and some guys will run it on the inside of the crash guard, but then it kind of makes, if you come on the inside here, it makes a sharper turn down here. You'll make it more of a real sharp 90 bend there. By letting it running freely this way with it clamped in here, it's a nice, smooth, gentle turn. That's my theory. And then, let's go this way. But in every case where this voltage regulator is here, I believe that is, and a lot of the bikes have the cross member right here, the clutch cable always goes underneath that cross member, or just underneath this regulator, and then it runs into the clamp down here under the derby cover, and then straight into the clutch mechanism like that. That's how I'm going to run it. The only other thing is I could try to squeeze it in between here, and it'll just be a sharper bend. I'll put a couple clamps to hold it in place, but you want a nice smooth bend. You don't want any right angle bends or an S turns and twisting around everything. The least amount of turns as possible. So I got this back together here. It's pretty simple. You just lock the cable into this piece here. It's got a little square notch in it, so it lines into the throw out. Put the snap ring back in, and that's ready to go on. I'm going to have to top up the transmission oil when I'm done there. Okay, so I'm going to bolt this back up, put the pipe on. Hardest part's going to be getting that clamp screw on back in here. Really difficult to get at, but I'll show you a little bit more when I get to that point. Okay, got the clutch cable all back in. Just be sure to put the O-ring in here and make sure the old O-ring isn't stuck in there. You don't want two or double up. Tighten that up. I think that was 7/16. Tightened up all the transmission covers, put the exhaust back on. Got that bolt back in down there. That's the hardest bolt to get on down there. But, let me see it down there. Where's my finger? Oh, you're right over there. Got it routed underneath the regulator, and I adjusted the tension for now. I need 2 1/2-inch wrenches. I'm going to take it for a test drive when I get it done, and then maybe reset it again, and then I'll push the rubber boot down. With this Drag Specialties, they give you a rubber boot. They also give you a new O-ring for it, and a new clutch pin they give you as well too. And it's a chrome cable. All the fittings are chrome on it. I'm not going to put the brake line on yet. It was supposed to come in as a black stainless steel line, and it's a clear. So I'm going to give them a call, Drag Specialties, tomorrow, and see if they can ship me out a black one right away, and I'll send that one back, and then I'll put the cables on. So it's just about there. The hardest part's done. I still got to clamp. I'll clamp the clutch cable in here and put a tie down at the bottom. I'm going to let it run like that, and then the throttle cable they'll come like this, so it'll be kind of like a double bow there. Look all right. That's where I'm at so far. Just putting the throttle cables on. This is always the tricky part. One's a pull cable for accelerating. The bike will actually run without the second cable here. They call it the idle cable, but it's the return cable. If this cable ever breaks, you can always force your throttle back and this will pull it shut. That's the whole idea of having the second cable. So I'm just threading these two in here and try to loop them into the grip and close the cover and tighten it all up without everything falling apart. That's always the kind of the trickiest part. Just snuggling this one up for now. So the idle cable, they call it, or the pull cable. Slight difference between the throttle cable. It's got a little spring right here on the end of the cable. So the pull cable, the throttle cable is on the outside here. So now, tricky part. Got these little clevises that got to go onto the cable. Without losing them. They go onto the end of the cable here. And then you got to try to get it into here. Which is pretty tight on this one. A pair of pliers. Probably good, it's snug and it won't come undone. Usually they're loose and they flop all out. A little bit more. It's got to go a little bit more. Okay. There's one. That one in. Just a freaking nightmare. I don't know if you can see from there, but it's pretty tricky getting this all in here together. Pull the slack out of the cable. And I think I got this in the middle of it. There. I'm just trying to see which way this wire goes. I got it fucked up, I think. Yeah, let me get that straightened out. Got them in there, but it's a lot of finagling. I'm leaving the master cylinder off for right now until I see what I'm going to do with that hose. I could run these two cables on the outside here and come underneath. That's normally how I would do it, but I might run it this way. It won't hurt. It kind of matches the loop of the clutch cable here. Yeah, you can't see that, eh? Where are we here? There's the clutch cable loop. Do the throttle loop like that. And it clamps right here anyway, so I think that'll be all right. I'd like to put it on the outside, but I think that looks better. Like that. Maybe like that. I don't know. Try it like that. Okay. Okay, got an issue with this. I took the cables back out because the throttle was hanging up, and like it's dragging, it's catching, something's not right. So I took the cables out to eliminate all that, and then the little adjuster, stop adjuster here in the center, the little sharp little point in there. This piece I took out just to make sure that it wasn't binding with this, and I tightened it up again, and it's stiff, it's dragging. So this aftermarket tube isn't right. I'm going to take it apart and have a better look at it, maybe put the old one in, see what the difference is, but something's not right with this. I put the old one in there, spins as free as could be, and I can push this down, clamp it tight. I mean, that's how it should be, nice and free. So you can see the difference of the ends there. The aftermarket one, how much thicker, you know, the plastic is. So I'm kind of disappointed in that. When I stick the old grip on and just put it in the lower half, like it spins nice and freely. The plastic on either side of where the cables goes is the stopper. So, you know, shut throttle, full throttle. So you get almost a half turn there. When I put the new one in, you see how wide it is from here to here, from one side to the other compared to this one. I could use this one. I ground it down, I could use it, but it's not going to open full throttle. When I put it in here, I'm only getting about a third of the throttle because of that part so big. So I'm going to have to try to take this liner out and put the old liner inside this one. That's the next step. Okay, got them all. Cables mounted in there. Had to change the inner tube with the old tube. That was a bit of a trick getting it out, and especially this one without damaging it. Oh, I still got to put the end cap on. And I decided to run it down the inside of the handlebars. It can be easily changed to the outside if he prefers it. And then put a little twist tie here in the frame into the phone ring, so it cuts my video off. But I got the other side all soldered in. It's the same as the first side. Got the wire ties all back on, and actually ready to put the tanks on. But I think I'm going to put the tanks on and the brake on when I get the see what's going on with the brake cable, if I'm going to get a black one or what I'm going to do with that. So I think this is the end of video 2. This is just kind of temporary for now. I'm just kind of see how I'm going to do it, but I think that looks good like that. And I need one more clamp down here, right there, to clamp that that cable, the clutch cable. And that's pretty much it. That's the hardest part of it, but I'll do one more video just putting the brake line on and putting the tanks on. That's it for today.